this video, we considered the political economy of traditional or so-called legacy media. But do network digital media operate according to completely different political economic rules, thus giving rise to different kinds of media content, meanings, and experiences? Your instinct may be to say yes, absolutely, and many pioneering scholars of digital media like Yuri Benkler, Axel Bruns, and Clay Shirky have been inclined to agree with you. In fact, since the early 1990s, commentators on digital media have contended that the internet has broken up or will break up the big corporate media monopolies, resulting in new and more democratic futures for media production, distribution, consumption, and experience. You'll be familiar with many of the promises of this utopian view. However, I wish to elaborate them carefully here, in part so that we can question them more fully in the next few videos. This utopian view then contends that with the rise of digital network media we will see, or indeed have already seen, first, a model of media production that's radically democratized due to the rise of cheap, accessible, consumer-facing media production hardware and software, from digital cameras to Adobe Creative. These new tools supposedly mean that any network user is now able to make and edit, as well as receive, mediated communications, thus transforming users from passive media consumers into active media producers. Moving to media distribution, the utopian view promises an equally radical democratization of media distribution as a result of two developments. First, the rise and accessibility of digital networks like the internet and new sharing platforms and methods from YouTube to Pirate Bay. And second, the newfound accessibility of niche markets and distinctive tastes due to media's newly sophisticated targeting systems and its newly global reach. The utopian view argues that as a consequence of these developments, media is now driven not by what media corporations choose to distribute, as in the broadcast mass media one-to-many model, but rather by what consumers choose to share, rate, review, and endorse. In terms of media ownership, the utopian view promises that the above developments will inevitably lead to the breakup of the big media monopolies, and the rise of independent, niche, and boutique media production. In terms of media power, the utopian view identifies digital media with the breakup of corporate-controlled media, the decline of gatekeepers and mediators like editors and journalists who've traditionally selected and shaped content for publication, and the rise of citizen journalism, alternative news and entertainment, and the open and rapid exchange of opinion between individuals, and what digital media theorist Manuel Castells describes as mass self-communication. Critics who hold this view sometimes point to a range of recent revolutionary social movements that seemed, at least on the surface, to have been facilitated by social media, and that seemed to provide hope for a newer, more democratic future. Exemplary here were the Tunisian and Egyptian revolutions, both of which took place in 2011 and involved the deposition of an authoritarian leader, and both of which were organized in part through grassroots, peer-to-peer communication on social media platforms like Facebook and Twitter. In terms of media access, the utopian view promises that with the internet, a scarcity of entertainment and informational content controlled by a few networks and corporations will be replaced by an abundance of content, a cornucopia of on-demand digital channels and services that cater to our every whim. In terms of media content, finally, the promise is that these new systems of media power, production, distribution, and so on will lead to a massive diversification of media content. Some of it would be user-generated, echoing the bewildering array of mashups, memes, home videos, songs, photos, and blog posts produced by social media users, while some of it would emerge with the rise of new boutique and independent production houses. However, this utopian view of the political economy of digital media has been challenged by other critics, especially in the past few years. The following video will talk you through some of those challenges.